All right, man. We are going to get this space started, man. SANKOFA Space, hosted by Stolen from Africa. Big up to everyone who's come through. I think this is like our fifth session, man, where we've just been hosting conversations to get us more in tune with what's happening, on the blockchain and the crypto space, NFT space, the Black African diaspora community worldwide, finding ways to connect. So we're just going to wait for people to come through and connect. Big up, big up. We usually host this with the brother Symbolik, and I'm excited for today's discussions. It's one thing I really like about this space is where we can share our expertise, and everybody's just so collaborative and willing to see everyone shine and grow and build and whatnot. So yeah, every session brings some new information. So I'm excited to see how that goes. I see the brother Symbolik coming through. I'm going to add him on as a co-host. And yeah, man, we'll get this party started. And because this is pre-recording, I guess I'll just do a quick introduction of just, Stolen from Africa. So Stolen from Africa is a brand out here in Toronto, Canada. We are also a nonprofit organization, and we work with marginalized youth. We focus on cultural and historical awareness of Africa, the African diaspora, and we do what we can, and that's usually done through clothing, through digital media, through creating spaces like this where we can just kind of support each other. And a lot of it is based under the premises or theories of SANKOFA, which is basically stands for it's not taboo to go back and collect what you may have forgotten. So we find different ways of empowering each other, and each one teach one type of philosophy. And yeah, man, we've been doing it since 2004, and moving from physical spaces to digital spaces. So I'm excited about Twitter Spaces because it's been creating this international connection, man. So that's a little bit of an introduction for Stolen from Africa. My name is Logik, and I see Symbolik is on board, man. What's going on, brother? Oh, how come you're listed as a listener? What happened here? Let me add you as a co-host, and I can also add a sister there. I don't know if would like to add on and speak, but let's see if we can get some dialogue going on, because we like to make this interactive. Symbolik, what's going on, brother? You're on mute in case you're trying to talk. Yeah, man.
Okay, wow.
There we go.
Yo, how's it going? Yeah, I was talking, so that was a good call on your part.
Man, I've been doing these virtual calls for the past 2 years. So I have this intuition where I know that that's what's happening. So, and it's always right. It's always right.
You were right. You were so right. Yo, and I'm seeing that you're recording, so that's cool. You've noticed the new.
It was, you know what? I guess they paid attention and heard and made it a feature. So that's great. So we have documentation, because I think that's really important for us to move forward. Yeah. But I guess why don't you do a quick introduction? Introduce yourself and.
Cool, but they is still a speaker. Oh, maybe maybe they're not available, or maybe Twitter's glitching out. I sent an invite too, so
Oh, there we go. We're plugged in. Peace. Yes, big up day. Thank you for coming through. So perfect. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess we can do some quick introductions. Symbolik, you can go ahead, and then we'll get Day, and then also mention where you're from, because I love the fact that sometimes we get international guests and friends, and it's kind of cool to see how far these platforms can go.
Exactly. So I'm Symbolik. Of course, rocking with Stolen from Africa. I live in Toronto.
Yeah.
Interactive digital producer, creator, focusing on 360 virtual reality. Rolling with Daima, the creators of Black NFT art. Big ups also to African NFT community. Yeah. So that's what I'll say. That's me.
Okay. Perfect. And I'll pass it over to Day. Please introduce yourself. Let us know where you're from.
Hey everyone, so my name is Day, and I am a newbie artist. I just started in the NFT space, but like as an artist in general, like I mean, I've been making art since like 2017, but I was just making it just for fun. And now I'm just jumping into this NFT space because I thought it was a lot of fun and I'm like really enjoying getting to know people. But I'm still a newbie. I'm still learning everything. I'm actually taking a blockchain course on YouTube. So I'm just happy to be here to learn and get to know people.
That's amazing. I love that. I just kind of want to build off of like what you're mentioning about having fun. And I'm just curious to know like what are some things that you've like discovered, just dabbling in this like space, like whether it's like creatively or whether it's like maybe about yourself or just new endeavors that you previously weren't, put onto, and then now you're here and you're like, oh, hold on, there's a lot to explore. So I'm just curious to know if you want to share any of your discoveries or any kind of like enlightenments or.
Yeah, okay. So like when I first jumped into this space, like I thought it was just gonna be like a different way to monetize yourself as an artist to get like consistent sales and things like that. But like no, it's not just about like getting sales and things. It's more about like building like a whole community and then um doing something for the community that you're in,
Mm,
giving value back to the people, and like that's like really beautiful to me because like ever since I was a kid I wanted to like own a mansion and like house I wanted to like house all the homeless people that I saw,
mm,
give them a nice place to live and like get them clean and off the drugs and give them something constructive to do to like rebuild their life. Like
amazing.
I've been thinking about doing that since I was a kid, and like I don't know, life hasn't been very kind to me. I've been struggling financially, and
Mm,
then I learned about this space and like how much money people are making, and I was like, oh shoot, let me jump in.
right, right, right.
Let me jump in and do something amazing in here and learn from people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of like where I'm at right now. Like Brother Symbolic, was pretty much the one. I mean, I had a few people who kind of like introduced me to the space, but I was never really like hip to it. I was like, yeah, I kind of get it, but Symbolic was just like going off. He's just like, yo, this is where it's at, and that got me to like pay a little more attention. And then when I really started, seeing more of like the community aspect, because I kind of dabbled a bit in like the crypto space and here and there. And I got, a few coins and, investments and whatever. But it was really about like the community aspect that that really got me, so Symbolic, like, plugged me into like black NFTs and really just connecting with people like, in the continent, around the States and America and all over the place, really. And that was really appealing for me because like as Stolen from Africa, like we have made like quite a bit of connections, in across Canada, really, parts of the States and the Caribbean, a little bit in the continent, in Ghana and South Africa and stuff like that. But like connecting and hearing different narratives and intersections, like digitally, and how easy it is, but also effective, was really inspirational to me. And just like you mentioned, seeing people who were actually like, creating stuff and finding ways to like sustain and to really, build some type of foundation for our futures was really, really appealing. And myself as a creator, as a content creator, like now I'm looking at different ways of putting out content, and even us being part of this conversation right now, is part of that content creation, and us, and that's one thing I really like about the whole like concept of being like decentralized, because everybody has their expertise and their truths, and we all just kind of like bring that to the center, and then we just add on, and then that creates something, amazing. So that has been really, really powerful for sure. Yeah, man. And I see we have we got some more guests coming through. Respect for joining us. I'm gonna
Young
send
Denzel.
the invite over to speak just in case you want to add on. No pressure though, no pressure. It's all love.
Yeah,
Um,
I've
Go ahead.
been we followed each other for a while on Twitter, and Young Denzel drops nice stuff on Twitter, and I don't think we've ever spoken. So I'm hoping that he'll jump on. That's what I wanted to say there.
That's peace, man. Respect, yo.
We're
Yeah. But
mhm.
I'm curious, like Symbolic. In the meantime, like while we have some people that may want to join in, want you maybe you can speak about like your experience in this digital space, like like when you first connected and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
And what I want to say is, oh, yo, young Denzel.
hey,
Oh, he's plugged in.
hey, yeah,
Okay,
sorry about that. I had to like close it and turn off the settings to get the mic back on. But I'm here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
absolutely.
Yo, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. If you don't mind, if you could just tell us about yourself and
Yeah,
that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
and where and add where you're from as well, because I know that we've
Oh,
got some international guests and stuff. So
oh, true. Okay. My name is Young Denzel. I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia. Let's see. What's up, Mitchell? And I make 3D art and NFTs, and I mostly make music, but I recently transitioned from being like a full-time music producer and studio owner to just making animations and NFTs and focusing on the Web3 space because like it has eliminated so many of my issues almost immediately.
wow. Okay, well, thank you for sharing. We're going to get into that because I really want to hear more about eliminating your issues, and I'm really curious to know like what are these like possibilities that can be created and different types of collaborations and opportunities. But yeah, Symbolic, man, like, why don't you like jump in real quick and let us know like how you got plugged into this space and maybe like some of the potential that you see with it.
Yeah, sure, definitely. So it was 2020, around this time of the year, probably October. I was invited to be a part of. I'm not muted, right? Okay, cool. I was invited to be a part of this pop-up, which was an international collaboration that would result in the creation of an NFT. I was providing music, and I was paired up with someone named Alex. Yo, there's Blockstone. Been expecting him.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
exciting, man! Shout out Blockstone, man. I've been following that the Twitter account and been seeing what's going on. But yes, go on, and
yo,
we're going to circulate this, man. We're going to get everyone to speak, yo. This is dope.
yeah, and I've been in those spaces and talking with them. So we're gonna get into that because that's so appropriate. That's why I wanted
Amazing.
to invite
Salute,
him.
salute.
Talking about tools, digital tools and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, the funny thing is what Day was just mentioning. That's what I learned from that because although it was great, it was a like step into learning and trying to figure out how myself, let's say, as either someone who creates music as well as someone who creates. I've been focusing for the last 6 years on 360 virtual reality storytelling and so forth. So how does it fit into this whole NFT thing? But the first biggest lesson was you really have to have community, and it's about building that community. And so I would definitely agree with what Day had just mentioned. And so so that was kind of I was kind of arm's length in that the piece was minted for us, but it was definitely gave me a taste. Like we had this crypto voxels party where I was interviewed, and then you could see the art on the walls and purchase and so forth. But so really, like moving now forward, and everyone's talking, buzzing about metaverses. It's really cool to and I was really fortunate to have it was DAO Records and Vandal, and in fact I was invited then to be a part of NXM, which is a music guild on the Near blockchain, and so I joined that, and have been active in terms of they have different bounties where you contribute a song or contribute lyrics to a song. They've got like the mixtape beat DAO going on right now. So basically, I really got involved over there. Did some what do they call these? Basically, hackathon, right? Like a hackathon that gets you like creating active in a DAO and posting and so forth. And so that's on the one side. But I got to say, on the other side, super important. I already did my customary plug, Black NFT and African NFT. I was I've been on Twitter forever, and I never even really saw the value. I was like, why do people like care or want to communicate in this way? And my brethren, C Soul, sent me Black NFT art. And by the way, I also went on Clubhouse, and I just did not feel at home, really. Going into spaces, the way I put it is, I felt like, when you are like a used car salesman is talking with you about NFTs with all the shilling and the way, the style and so forth. And so I wasn't really feeling Clubhouse either, which is just basically like this. So imagine, like, how could we not feel this? This is amazing, like talking, but it was the vibe. It was the places where I found myself. So when I found Black NFT art, and then through them found African NFT art, as I always say, it changed the internet for me, because now I'm like, oh, I see why Twitter's dope. Like, I'm just seeing beautiful Black art flying through my Twitter feed. And then I found out about their clubhouses. And so unlike the vibe I got from the other clubhouses out there, where it was like I said, like the used car salesman, or like I don't know if you've been in startup spaces where there's not a lot of Black people. It's just got a vibe that's just like, it's fine, but it's not great.
Indeed.
But when you're right, like people who are trying to convince you that they're so smart and all of that, like, I don't know, that's not my vibe. So when I found Black NFT art and then African NFT art, the the Clubhouse spaces were just like chill, cool, chill Black people. It was mostly on the art tip, but then even through that, you'll find people who want to talk about issues that are, more pressing issues. Like, say, not that art isn't pressing. It can really be a tool and a channel for making monumental change and so forth. However, in these spaces, you hear words like "ashe." I'm like, what? Did I just hear "ashe" up in this? Okay, I'm in the right place. And so I just went hard, like supporting Black NFT, African NFT, and in time, they are actually Black NFT, the parent company that was spawned through Black NFT art. Daima needed some help with something, so they put something out in the Black NFT community space, and I was like, yeah, I'd be down with that. And they're like, yo, Symbolik, yo, jump on board. So I'm rolling with them right now. And so, yeah, that's, and as far as minting, like, I do stuff mostly over on the near in Mintbase. I dropped Do the Math, almost at a selling out point, and I'm going to drop, but I dropped more of those. So I'm really trying to explore and figure out, how to, pricing is a thing now. Like, well, I mean, I guess it's always been a thing, but cut out all the middle people. You have a thing, and so I'm working right now on the final piece in that collection, in the Do the Math collection, which is going to be a 360 video, one of one, like where I'm going into these places in Toronto that no one go. I can't say no one goes, but places that are gated off, that they're not expecting for people to be, and showing some of these spaces, while dropping this track. So
no, that's powerful, man, and it's a really exciting time. And like, I can just hear it in your voice, like you're super inspired and just like ready to go. I want to pass the mic over to Blockstone. Introduce yourself, let us know where you're from. I've been seeing some of the stuff, I'm dealing with, like the metaverse, man. So like, I really want to get into that as well, and just like hear about like how you got into all this.
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
Peace.
Yeah. So I'm Michael. Michael, I go by Blockstone on the internet. It's kind of what I use for all my art things. I do a lot of stuff. I do multimedia. Right now I'm very heavy focused in virtual reality and VR design and things like that. But I use it to host all of my past work, which is like photo, video, film, all kinds of shit, machine learning. It's kind of a host of things, and it was really hard for me to like put that into one sentence. So really now I just say virtual reality spaces because those are kind of like the boxes that hold that as an experience for somebody. If that, I don't know if
No,
that's
no,
to put
for
it,
sure, for sure. And where are you based out of?
I'm in Washington State in the U.S.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Love that, man. Our friends across the border, man. That's cool, man. And how did you, because I saw this I guess it was kind of like this like virtual like tour, like you're in this like metaverse type of space and whatnot. How did you even get like to create something like that?
I kind of just like have loved computers like since dial up. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
since those kind of noises, like as a kid, because I was like really tiny when that was a thing. So like computers at nighttime was like a big thing for me. So digital art was like always around, I
That's
guess. Like
what's
I was
up.
really invested in the internet as a kid at a subconscious level. By the
Mm.
time I was like staying up late because I had energy, I was like watching like Ghost in the Shell and shit on Adult Swim because it was up late, and that was like one of the first things I like knew would be on TV if I stayed up late. And nobody
It's so
caught me.
real.
Right.
Okay.
So like I was already like very inspired by that, but
Mm.
I started with kind of photography because I liked to just move around and like see stuff. And so photography expanded to film and 3D, and then I figured out photogrammetry with photography, which is just like photo scanning essentially. And then that wasn't really good enough for what I wanted, which was some kind of like cohesive, like clean thing. And
Mm.
so then I began getting into VR and virtual reality, like design in virtual space.
That's what's up,
So
man.
yeah, so as soon as the first like Vive came out years ago, as
Mm.
soon as that happened, like my homie's dad had it, and I was like there immediately. You know what I mean? Like let's see what
Mm.
this is about. At the time, it was still like garbage, but I was just like, this is it, because I could
Mm.
see it. It's like a 3D full experience, And now the technology has just advanced so much that I've just been sitting here watching it the whole time, playing with it.
Yo. No, that's really really fascinating, and really, I'm really curious to see like the potential of like, I'm learning about like, like Web3 now and all that. I'm just curious to know like real quick, like what's the potential that you see like with all of this, like a lot of the things that have come up so far is like the ability to like create community, to create sustainability, and just really kind of like expanding our ways of expressing and how we connect with each other. But in your opinion, like what are some things that you see? And then after, I'm going to pass it over to young Denzel, because I want to get some of his perspectives as well. But go ahead, Blockstone.
I look at it. I look at it in terms of creating space. Like I won't even say community because I know that's kind of like an easy word that people want to like
Mm.
crap on right now because it's easy keyword. But I would just say space
Mm.
because whether you're an artist alone, the first time you touch empty, open digital space as a creative is so liberating. Like so that alone,
Mm.
like creating a space regardless of where you are in the world that you have to work is pretty wild. But on a bigger scale too, I look at it like this. If we are looking at digital currency and we are looking at digital art and now we're looking at digital fashion and digital events and all of these things, it makes the most sense that you would experience all of these digital things from within digital space.
Mm.
So I don't think it's the replacement of reality. Like we're always going to have this spectrum. Like we'll have our screens, we'll have our little hologram boxes, we'll have our AR glasses, whatever. Like I don't think it's going to be the end all be all the time because no one can really handle that. That's a lot of
Mm.
stimulation. But it does become the place, like the kind of space between spaces, right? Like anyone anywhere can connect with everyone at the same time in one instance, whether that's to collaborate, to share art, to plan something, to have a conversation, to go for a walk, for therapy. It doesn't matter. Like digital space itself becomes a space that you can build any construct you want, anything you need, whether that's a gallery or a safe space or a scary place or a fun game, it doesn't matter. And so if we're so focused on digital, 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 and digital art, and we have to start really digging into what digital space can do for
Mm.
how we perceive all of that, the digital medium, digital audio, digital music, videos, photos, all of it.
I love that, man. That's a great like explanation. It really feels like limitless. Like it
Yeah,
really
it provides.
feels like it's open. And I like how you meant how you use just the word like space. Because when I think of community, it does sound a little like exclusive and it's like this like collective or whatever. But when it's just space, it's just space. Like I picture like this like universe. You know what I mean? That's just vast and
Exactly.
open, and we just happen to be in it. So thank you for sharing that. I want to pass over to young Denzel. Earlier
Hey.
you mentioned about like this has like eliminated. I can't remember how we framed it, but like eliminated some problems or things, and
Absolutely.
I guess has created some opportunities. So if you want to add on and let
Sure.
us know, yeah.
So by turning a lot of our media into NFTs, we'll be able to actually track it. I think a good example of how, like in Web 2, this perspective is being applied, even though it's not possible to work, is with beats. Like you can sell a lease to a beat, and it can say like, oh, okay, after 50,000 streams on Spotify, the contract's over. They got to upgrade to like the exclusive beat, right? In Web3, we can code that right into the contract that was used to buy said beat. Matter of fact, it's synonymous with the beat. So when it hits 50,000 streams, it will automatically deactivate itself or send, some code out that will do that for us. And so with that kind of technology, we can actually protect our work for once. Matter of fact, we can create huge directories of all the NFTs that are being created to scan for fake ones. And just the ability to actually verify that what you're selling and what you have is real is going to change everything for anyone who's trying to get like digital IP, because the future, unfortunately, is going to be monopolized even in the metaverse by these large companies. And the only thing that we'll be able to generate is IP. And just like with Roblox and with the Sandbox, their biggest issue is kids come in there, they make games in the metaverse, essentially. It's like an open world concept with games that you can explore, no different than Sentinelland or, the alike. But they kind of own the game. Like, they don't pay you what is fair, even in today's day and age. Even with the metaverse, the game you make in the metaverse still does not pay you what it should. And that's what I mean by the monopoly that big business is going to have on metaverse is going to kind of destroy the initial concepts that we're exploring now. But what it will give us is the ability to actually track stuff for once. So for me, is like, as any artist on Web 2 to Web 3, we're seeing everyone getting their content stolen right now and just put on Web 3, and then people kind of just buying it. But that's because consumers just don't know, and it's not clear that something's real or fake yet. And like in Web 2, though, someone can just listen to your song on YouTube and then download it with next to nothing,
Right.
and then just sell it on BeatStars, and there's no one to do anything about it whatsoever. And if you were to come after them, you would have to have a copyright for said beat. So that means you had to go and publish the beat already, and knowing that someone was going to steal it, essentially, in order to prove that you're the one that made it. And that's only if you have the money to even play this game. So Web3 will allow us to not only bring communities together, but to decentralize a lot of the monopolization that happens with the IP that's being created in these metaverses. So with NFTs, we'll be able to track all of those things, and thus we can actually create legacies that go on longer than 5 years on YouTube. You know what I mean? And we can actually maybe have a stake in the profit that the company or the platform that we're using to put this content on is getting, because realistically they're getting like 98% right now, and we're getting less than 1%. We're just getting some follows and likes and comments. You know what I mean? But we could decide that that like is worth 0.003 or whatever I'm getting paid in streams right now on Spotify. So like with all of this, it becomes the tools to at least evaluate the new possibilities that we can use digital media to create experiences for other people that they haven't had already. Like music does not just have to be something you listen to. It can be something that takes you somewhere. Like in order to finish the song, you have to go to a certain location, or you have to see this person to get the song.
I like
or you have
that.
to be part of this DAO in order to be part of the album and it's being made and the funding that's being used to create the art. Like before, we didn't have any of that. We were just we had gatekeepers. So to me, this is amazing because those gatekeepers can't even get in. Like, I'm not sure if you guys noticed that Ice Cube dropped an NFT yesterday where he hired some random artists to do, AI work, where they just basically took some hand printed art and then put into an AI picture generator, and then that's the NFT drop. And it's like, that is not the community. There's no community here. There's nothing here. It's just a celebrity trying to get on. While I think Ice Cube is awesome, that's the difference, is you have to come correct. You have to meet people. You have to talk to people. You can't just be like, this is what I'm selling. Here, take this, take this, take this. It doesn't exist anymore.
I love that. No,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that, man. I'm hyped now, man. I'm excited. This is very, very cool. I saw that Blockstone had a hand up. I don't know if you want to add on real quick. Big up to everyone that's just joining us right now. It's the SANKOFA space, man. We're just having some incredible conversations on, just digital innovations and the possibilities of like Web3, NFTs, and just things that we should keep on our radar, and keep inspired. But yeah, go ahead, Blockstone. I don't know if you want to add on.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. I think I wanted to add too that there's a little bit of hope on the side of the kind of metaverse idea. We have this fear of monopoly, but I think what we have to remember is that these NFTs are all digital assets that we can track, as you say. And so what's really cool about virtual spaces is that our server or the platform that we are hosting these files on doesn't update, meet our standards, align with our vision, any of these things as a community or communities, you can take those assets to another platform and still prove your ownership as that asset. But the thing is, you can just move the digital file to any platform you want. So like, we're very afraid of like one big monopoly on one space, but I think it's important to remember that an entire space can be made of a bunch of tiny pieces. So all those tiny pieces are those assets that you can sell and keep, as we are doing now.
Powerful, man. Symbolik, man. What you saying, brother?
Man, I'm just taking this all in. But what comes to my mind is you're talking about like once you mint an asset, it's going to be on the blockchain, right? Like let's say it's an NFT, it's basically frowned upon to put an NFT on one platform and then on another platform for sale, right? Does that make sense? Is my logic?
Yeah, that's exactly what I've heard.
What? Does anybody want to add on to that? Maybe we can get some clarification.
I'm ignorant on secondary like code and everything, but my understanding is it depends on the platform you even have secondary sales on, because some won't even allow it on another platform, and you won't make it that way.
Yeah.
Right?
So sorry, Logic. I did want to know what Blockstone was thinking because of that proposition. So I'm understanding. By the way, I've stood inside of his artwork, and I'm very excited about. Firstly, I'm really glad that you are here, and everyone that's here. Thank you very much. But yeah, so like you're saying, you created something. So if you, for example, I met you in VR chat, but you mentioned another space where you could have taken that same content or that same piece of art and placed it there, and we could have been there instead. So that's why you're saying we really have some leverage in terms of where we go. And where we contribute our work and our presence, because you're saying like that's your creation and you can take it wherever you want, right? Am I understanding you?
Totally. It comes back around to the same conversation of that you have proof of your ownership. And so like you might be afraid to have your 3D avatar in some other platform that someone might be able to clone or find some way to like take it from you as a file, like a GLB file that you can use in these spaces. But if they try to sell it somewhere else or vice versa, it's the same way like I can take a photo of a photo or screenshot a JPEG and have a JPEG of the same one, and I can show it in my gallery, but I can't actually show you that it's mine. It's the exact same conversation.
Right. I think that's really it's very revealing, and like we should really understand that our presence and our energy, just like it always has been, but now when it's on the blockchain, we can track that. So really it's like, what do we do? Like how do we define communities? And when, the money tries to, to corrupt it, because it's inevitable. Everyone's talking about decentralization now. But we were talking about decentralization back when the internet was new. So really it's like, what do we do in the, and how do we like solidly move with community? And you go into more about Black Love DAO, but that's a part of what spawned that, was for years looking at, for example, hip hop, and, it is such a powerful asset. Look, even Stolen from Africa is largely hip hop. You know what I mean? I did hip hop before I did university, and I feel I was educated and through hip hop. And so at this point in time, like what do we do and how do we roll? And so yeah, they're going to make their thing over there that is a drop that, you know, just because someone's famous, they expect you to buy it, and we have this moment to decide things will be different. Sorry, going back to hip hop, is I feel that hip hop has been used as a weapon against Black people. And, you know, from what I saw, what people have been willing to invest into, it's been very detrimental. You know, in Toronto, you know, yesterday, this brother that got killed, rapper, you guys would know better than me. I know the true school rappers that they're in my brain, but I don't know the new ones. But this brother that died, this is a culture where we have that much power, like, you know, I'll call it magic. We have the ability to create this whole vibe. So when the most negative is what's focused on that and invested into, like, yo, you can rap, but you don't want to hear what Public Enemy style, political or spiritual, no Dead Prez style. No, that's not getting the investment. So yeah. So anyways, I feel like it's really timely. Like we have the ability to talk around the world, connect, form community or spaces, as Blockstone was saying. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah, let's get some more opinions.
One thing that kind of doesn't make sense to me is like OpenSea is kind of centralized, and a lot of systems that we use to connect and have community are still centralized, even though the concepts that we're coming, you know, together around are decentralized. It worries me that any moment in time we could get really good at coming together, and then, you know, the switch could be turned off. Like this, we had like a Google Cloud shortage this morning that messed up Discord, and so that's what worries me the most.
I've been thinking about that as well. Like the
internet DAO.
What is it? What was that?
Just community funded internet.
Community sponsored internet? Is that what you said?
I mean, think about it. I don't want to get too crazy there. I'm not gonna get wild on that conversation.
Oh, I love it, man. Yo, for sure.
Can you expand on that though?
Think about it.
Yeah.
Internet DAO makes sense. Okay, so if we all pay for it and we all keep it going, and we all are collectively adding on to this pool,
we could use our art.
I mean, if we're all paying, I mean, people are paying $80-$90 for like less than 100 megabyte per second internet all over the US. So I think about it, like if you had a better deal that you also benefited from, it's kind of an easy like thing. I don't know. I'm sure there are lots of intricacies there, but in thought, it makes sense, right?
Yo, it makes me think of the ENS. That's basically that. Like, you jumped in because
exactly.
Right, yeah. I wanted Symbolik.e, so I grabbed that, and I was oblivious to the fact that they are so freaking dope as a company that later on, that a part of their plan was to, you know, relinquish this governance. I mean, it's a lot to ask. When I say that, okay, it's like a pretty core fundamental that's not aligned with capitalism, the system we're living in. So here now they say here we're going to give you tokens that have value, but those tokens give you governance. By the way, here are the guidelines and rules we're going by. So you agree or disagree, and then you get your tokens, and then, or maybe not in that order, but then you vote. What? So now so when you say that, that's what parallel comes to mind for me. Like, yo, something that's structured like that. Because yeah, I agree with that, or I have the same, I would just say lightly, concern. Like really, like I got my eye on you. Well, like you a lot of people are out here just the same, you know, used car salesman kind of vibe, and they're saying like, oh, this changes everything. Because here's a concern that I do have, that I think we should be considering as we create things. Oh man, I went too roundabout. It was I'll remember it like right after we're done. No, I'll remember it in a few. But yeah, I think that like there are things that are out there that are, you know, that kind of can give us models as to how to do things. So yeah, like that centralization that's happening, like, you know, look, like the nifty gateways or the the big, like, what's the you know, the fancy auction one. It's like, that is the opposite. That's total centralization. So yeah, I think we should be concerned, but at this time, building now, when we're connected around the world, we should look at those models and also know, like, the people who built the old world, and there's no good old days in recent history for us, you know, to look back. Oh, the good old days.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yo, to me, like, this is all like history in the making. You know, like, we'll look back at this, like, this, you know, these conversations like 5-10 years from now and be like, yo, like, we were really on it, you know. But I'm just curious to know, like, you know, so in the context of, like, you know, tools for like digital creations, and, you know, a lot of us are kind of fresh into this, you know, want to get started with like NFTs and just really understand different platforms. Like what are some of the, I guess, like, tools and resources that you guys are all using, and ladies as well, to, like, I guess, like, create or any kind of like innovation that you're like, hold on, like, this is opening up some new doors for me, you know? So if you want to share anything, please add on.
Currently, I just use Photoshop to create. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the art that I have. I created an cyber exhibit. I don't even know if I did it right, but like, it's the link in my bio, so you can like check it out. My art is very abstract, spacey kind of stuff, kind of like vaporwave or kind of like outrun or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Um, and I just use I just use Photoshop to create everything. But I am learning how to use Blender because I do want to start making stuff for the metaverse. I want to create like my own metaverse space, and I want to create like assets that live and move in that space as well. But I have no idea how to do that yet, so I'm just using.
Oh, I got you. Go check out the site called oncyber.io. It
Yeah,
lets you create like a 3D gallery room.
yeah, like that's the thing I was talking about. That's the link in my bio. I created like an exhibit.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That was fine.
Okay, man. Virtual galleries. I love that, man. And any other like resources and tools that we can tap into, please share.
Unity 3D.
Oh, could you repeat that again, please?
Unity 3D is huge. Oh, sorry, brother. Sorry.
And that's a dope, like, that we're at this point where the answer to what, you know, tool for an artist, and he said it's a game engine, right? But so much more. People do so much more, but it's originally built as a game engine, and for that to be an artist tool is pretty dope. That's all I got to say. And Blender, that's cool that you have your eye on Blender. Like, I've picked up Blender, and on a few occasions, it's not the most user interface. Let me sorry about that. I just heard my phone beep. It's not the most like user friendly, but it can do so much, and it's free. So to me, that says accessibility, and that's very, very exciting. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like, just hopefully that you have the people around you and in these spaces, communities, you like find the right people that you can squat up and, you know, accelerate your learning and so forth. I wonder, same question that Logik was asking. Actually, I'm going to answer the question first, and then pass it on like a baton. So, you know, let's say I want to talk about when I started to realize, like, okay, how am I going to translate doing 360 into something that can be an NFT, when NFT collectibles at present are things that have been like in a frame. You know what I mean? Like, they're framed, whereas the 360 stories that I would be telling would be like something that is, you know, you put on a headset and you look around and you're in this, because I focus on video. And so I realized that there was I could use this style of bending your perspective, or I call it 360 still motion, and so it's it was, it's in NFTs. It was among the first, certainly. I didn't see a lot of people are straight saying like I haven't seen anything like that, but so it's like I feel like the answer is like everything can be a tool, and I love the idea that it's not just the digital space, but also someone said this yesterday in a room, like that they'll go for a walk and they wait. Was that you, Is it you, Blockstone, in our Curio space? I think it might have been.
I don't know what you're talking about, brother. Yeah.
It was, anyways. Someone had mentioned like going for a
That was
walk.
me.
Okay, you had me, man. I was like, oh boy. What is this? Are you saying that nothing I'm saying makes any sense? But,
I won't gaslight you.
but yeah, like it's really. I feel like we're coming back to a time where things are coming back together into one, like oneness. So like we have to have the balance. There's no chopping one thing out and saying it's not a part of it. It's not an important part of it. Like, oh, the breadwinner runs out and the person who's taking care of the family. That's not a thing that has any value. Or art. No, it's the business and the finance. The business is to exploit art. That's the world we're coming from. And just to be all symbolic like that, the same goes for like going for a walk. Like that relaxation is a part of that makes for the holistic state that we are doing dope shit and we're healthy. So anyways, so yeah, that I would just want to say like going for a walk, which I need to do because I haven't done that today, is it's a part of it's a tool. I insist. All right, I'm gonna pass it on.
That's what's up. I just want to put out this question here, man, because I've been seeing a lot about like the metaverse, and now I'm learning about like I guess what digital wearables or virtual wearables. I'm not exactly sure what the name is, but like digital clothing that's being created. And I saw this article where it's like Nike is actually upgrading their like trademarks and kind of getting into these spaces. So I'm curious to know, like, when it comes to like creating like wearables and things of that nature, I don't know if anybody has any knowledge or insights about like how to go about that.
I would start with Blender, honestly. Actually, there's two options. There's Blender, where you can like learn like real fashion stuff, or you could use Decentraland and you can make some like fashion assets in there. I haven't used Decentraland to do it because it requires you to like own stuff in Decentraland in order to use that, so I didn't. However, like I literally just dropped a new NFT of a character running with a do-rag on, like a do-rag cape. Because I've really been working hard on how to do fashion simulations because they're really hard in Marvelous Designer. And there's like a whole bunch of plugins in Blender that you can use, like auto cloth, that will automatically like help you create a shirt real quick and put it on your character, and as well as run the simulation on them moving with the outfit on. And that's what I would use. There's a few other systems like Clo 3D and Marvelous Designer, but the difficulty kind of comes in the formatting of your file. Like if it's an FBX or OBJ or a Limbic file, and that requires you to learn a whole bunch more formats, and it's really time consuming. So there you go.
Gotcha. Thank you. I'm definitely making notes, because I'm really curious about this, because like it reminds me of like, I have like smaller kids and they're like into like Roblox and whatnot, and it used to always trip me out when they would want me to like top up their like Apple cards so that they can like purchase all these like digital items, like digital dogs and cats, and I'm like, what is this? And then now I'm like seeing it happen in other spaces. I'm like, okay, hold on, man, like this is for real, because I just couldn't wrap my head around it. It's like, what do you mean you're purchasing digital items? Can't you just like make 100 of them? Like, why do we got to purchase this? But like it was really like an introduction of where things are going. And I believe it was like Blockstone was mentioning how he was like early in the internet and whatnot. And that's kind of how I see my kids, because they're all up in these spaces creating and moving. And so I'm trying to like get them aware and to be like, hey, like this is a game that you're playing, but hold on, like there's actually like some like opportunities and potentials to move forward. So really be creative and use your talents and think broadly. But yeah, I don't know, it's like really interesting stuff, man. Symbolik, man, what are you saying?
Yeah, definitely interesting. And when you brought up the wearables, it's funny because I'm connected with Cost Culture, or Sonia. I sent an invite Maybe they're not available to jump up, but she's interested in getting into the NFT space, and she creates beautiful African clothing. And so, like, I'm going through the IG, their IG, and I'm like, what? Yo, this is dope stuff. And you know, I was just encouraging her that, you know, we have, you know, our people, the people who will look at these African designs are right now connected around the world. You know what I mean? So like tap in, like I've already said, like the Umba Daima Black NFT arts, the African NFT arts, and like start like looking at the world as a community. And so anyways, back to the clothing and NFTs, like that's the other thing, like with that balance, I'm really interested to see how things evolve and like go back to real, like the relationship between digital and real world. So like, yeah, you've got this gear that we can create digitally and it can represent you, and yeah, they can be a limited amount of these, whatever, hats, jackets, whatever it is. But yeah, I'm also interested in like how the real clothing, like imagine, you know, you see someone and their shirt has some, you know, has a stolen from Africa, and then they see like some either QR code or AR code, and then like there's some way of engaging. Like this is all stuff that, you know, is a possibility for the future. And so yeah, I just wanted to, that just came to mind. Like there's that, and I don't know, Koss, I guess you're not able to come up. Cool. Yeah. So that's all I wanted to bring it around to, like digital and real world, quote unquote. Let's just put quotes on both of those. And, you know, and back to what I always like to say, and I believe is now we have this opportunity to guide where things are going to go. So, you know, it's a really critical and pivotal time. So yeah, building up those skills, like Dai was saying, you know, you have, and also what was in our discussion yesterday with Blockstone and Stones and others, the different media, like you might have like a style or a theme, or the project has that, but it can be translated. I always think, like growing up with comics, and to think right now that we've got like movies that are doing things that, you know, were even impossible in the movies, and these same stories, the core stories at least, that came from back then. And so I'm excited about like Meta Knights and Afro Droids and like Block Runners, where these projects that we are present both from the creation and in the representations in the stories, as well as the inspirations, like thematics in the stories, like Black people are present. So in the future, drawing back to what you were saying, Logik, about, you know, seeing, you know, starting to understand how NFTs and digital items have value. Like we are also, if we project forward now, we're gonna be in a time, as we've talked about before, Logik, where our children don't know a world where there was no Black presence in things, you know. So where we give our
facts.
Yeah, man, where we put our attention is gonna also be a part of that, because you know, we have to throw behind these projects and these movements, these organizations, and stick together, because, you know, as they try to centralize, I think maybe the key difference in Web 2 is that we weren't all connected. So now we've got different communities, and or, you know, communities that are connected and fluid. And, you know, I think it comes down to what we choose to do and who we choose to support and throw down with. I'm done speaking.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's exactly what's up. Oh, I just saw I think it was like Koss I was going to invite that person to speak, but then they left. So
what?
Yeah.
No,
they're sorry.
I still see them.
Oh, well, they're not. I don't.
Probably.
Well, if you are able to add on, then go ahead. But I do not see you.
Yeah, they're gone now.
Okay.
This Twitter.
I was just about to, like, right away, I was going to pass the mic over, but then they're just like, gone. Okay, that's all right. Well, hold on. When I see some other people who are listed as listeners, I'm going to add them on as speakers just in case y'all want to talk.
Yo,
I'm all about keeping the vibe going.
we got
Yeah.
Asteroid Maxi in the house. Big ups.
Yeah. Big up Afro Joys, man. Like I said, I'm just excited, and just to build on what you're talking about, how, like, you know, like, our kids growing up are going to see so much, like, representation, because now, like, it's not going to be as, like, censored or limited as it once was before. Like we out here, and that's one thing I've, you know, really noticed, being on Twitter. And thank you, Symbolik, for getting me tuned back into Twitter, because I've been on here since, like, you know, like 2009, but then I moved more over to, like, you know, Instagram, Facebook, and stuff like that, or whatever, and then came back, and then just realizing how popping, you know, Twitter is for all this new content and just, like, innovation that's happening. And I'm just excited for it. And yeah, like, you're right though. Like, they're gonna come up in a time where it's just like, oh, this is just so normal. Like, of course we're, like, you know, like, in these different spaces, and of course we're establishing ourselves, and our voices and our stories are being heard, and we're being expressed, and, you know, and what kind of, like, confidence and, like, self-esteem that's going to build, you know. So I'm really excited for that, and I'm already seeing it, because if I can feel this way for the potential, and I'm seeing slowly, like, you know, more tangible examples of these manifestations, like, it's only a matter of time before it's, like, everywhere. And it's time. It really is our time. You know, this is, you know, what, like, Black futurism is all about, and what have you. So yeah, man, big up to everyone contributing. I know we're coming towards the end of our hour session. This was a real jam-packed, you know, lots of jewels in here, and I'm so glad this is recorded, so we'll be able to, like, share and play it back. And, you know, we do this every week, man, every Thursday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. So depending where you all are geographically, 3:30, you know, Eastern time. And I see that some links are being added into the top of the screen there, so make sure y'all go check that out, man. Really dope stuff, man. Okay, man, I see young Denzel added, you know, his new piece with the do-rag cape. Want to make sure I, you know, get plugged into that.
Yes,
I'm loving
sir.
this, man. Yeah, no, this is really exciting. Yeah. I don't know if you want to speak to it real quick. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because,
sure.
like, I'm a big fan of do-rags. You know what I mean? Like, I've been having, like, you know, hair in my head, like, for mad years, and do-rags, I got a whole bunch of them. So yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. So I started growing my hair out like 4 months ago, and
So what's up?
you know,
Welcome.
getting a do-rag that stays in your head while you sleep. I don't know why there's not like a YouTube channel on this shit, but
That's the realist right there, man. You gotta
so,
you gotta figure
I
it
woke
out.
up and yeah, that's the inspiration for that piece. But also, it was the first thing I was able to create using Marvelous Designer, where I could have the animation with the character, and then actually be able to export it back into Blender to add the external scenes like the background and all of that stuff. And whereas before I could only take it into Marvelous Designer and put outfits on them, but they wouldn't be able to move. And so, yeah, do-rag was super easy to do because you could just pin it to the head, and you don't have to, like, do seams or, you know, join stuff, and you know, other things like that could get messy. So yeah, that's it.
Nice. I love the scene there. Like, how did you create that scene? It just looks so real.
Just a button in Marvelous Designer. You can do top stitch, and then it just, yeah.
Wow. Cool.
Like, if you want to get into fashion design, I'm telling you, Marvelous Designer is definitely the move. The only issue we'll have is trying to bring animations into it and simulate the clothes with an animation after you post them, which is a really strange problem to have. But yeah.
That's Marvel Designer?
Marvelous Designer, yep.
Marvelous. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so wait, what do you mean? Like, is it can you just export that into, like, Blender or something else after you created it?
That's what I did, yeah. So I started with the character in Blender. I made a character in Blender, right? And then I exported it to Mixamo to get, like, rigged and get an animation on it. Then I brought all of those animations back into Blender, put all of those animations onto, like, the one body, if that makes sense. So the body does all the animations, right? Then I take that animation over to Marvelous Designer, where I create clothes on it while it's in the static pose where it doesn't move. And then it has another tab called animation where it can then simulate the clothes and what the clothes movement would be on the body while it's moving. Nice. And then you can export all of that out of Marvelous Designer as, like, a limbic file. and then open it back up in Blender and then keep going.
Beautiful. Yo, I'm hoping that we, this will be one of the places where we'd like check back in as many, hopefully well, we'll be here every week, and I'm inviting you all
Absolutely
every week because I really see, as we move forward, and we'll be, what was it? Someone had said today something. Oh yeah, the ice cube drop. I didn't know about that. So the thing is, we go out and there are all these things that are happening, and there are all these platforms, not to mention software, and depending on what type of art you're focusing on, while it all comes back together in the metaverse, or in just different ways, as well as in the real world. So I think that we have a great opportunity to learn together, grow together, encourage, give love and exposure and support. So yeah, that's what's on my mind at that exact second.
No, that's what's up, and I think that's a really great way to kind of wrap this up. But I see Blockstone has a hand up, so can take us out with some last words, and yeah, man, we'll keep this conversation going every week.
Can't undo that. Yo, I just want to go back to Denzel real quick with Marvelous Designer, because I've been looking at it and I haven't touched it. But can you export those as files for avatars?
You saying, can you export like the cloth
like
simulation for avatars?
Yeah, like say you made a T-shirt or a jacket or a hoodie or whatever. Could you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just
so yeah, you would export it as an OBJ file. The issue you're going to end up having is once you parent the clothes to the body, how that clothes then moves on the body while the body is moving. If that's the case, if that's not the case, then you don't even need Marvelous Designer to do half of this. You could actually just go to SketchUp.com and you can literally download there's so many clothes that are free on there. You can just download and then put it right in your character.
Other thought I just wanted to offer in there too, with the effort for the animation. If you could get your clothes and things onto an avatar, you could just put them into worlds in spaces like VR chat and the like, and then record your clothes.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing.
We should be friends. I'm trying to say we should be friends, bro. That's all.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you both. Could you repeat?
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. So no, you guys both. I want to hear what you're both saying.
Yeah, I apologize for talking over you, Ben.
No, I didn't mean to. I was just saying we should be friends.
I totally agree. These chats are hard. So yeah, the answer to your question is technically yes, but it's going to depend on the game engine that open world is using, whether it will allow that kind of. You're having the same issue with Decentraland. Like I can make something in Blender clothes wise, but if I try to import it into Decentraland, it won't let you because it only takes a certain file type that has to be created within the metaverse. It can't be moved around too much. I think that might change in the future, but yeah.
But Blender, Unity, Unreal.
Yeah, the closest you can come to this right now is so I was thinking, look, you could just put the clothes on the character and then put it into Unreal Engine and then use a game controller to create all the animations and just put a camera to them so you don't have to do anything by hand. And Unreal Engine was the closest that I came to doing that and being able to move clothes from any system to an open world area and then record
it. Yeah, we should talk, bro. We should talk.
Yeah.
Yo,
I don't know if
hey man, love it. That's what this space is for, man. That's what's up.
Exactly. Yo, I almost called you Mindbender. Yo, Logik, do you mind if I do?
Yes, sir.
If I do a quick, what's really, really quick, Black Love, what we're about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Plug that in.
So yeah, Black Love DAO, it's in the early phases. It is a DAO whose aim, sorry, my brain is trying to go sideways. Keep it straight and concise. So it's to create safe spaces to onboard Black African descendants and ensure that there are safe spaces, and where there's not the gaslighting, oh, that's not racist. It's just, Pepe memes or whatever. Monkeys looking like black people. No, that's not a racist thing. Just so that we just have that safe space around us. At least we can talk about things and and then incentivizing positive creative work and learning together. So like this is a space that is in that vibe, Black Love DAO. And what I want to invite you to do, because there's much more, there's more to the idea, but it also needs more people, although there are lots of interested people. I want to invite you to DM me if you're interested in that, if that sounds interesting to you, creating safe spaces, creating learning spaces, and incentivizing positive Black creative work. We're Afrofuturistic. Just DM me and I'll have you on the list and we'll go from there.
All right, man. That's what's up, man. But yo, I just want to big up everyone for coming through today, man. SANKOFA Space, hosted by Stolen from Africa, man. My name is Logik. You can follow me at Logik416. That's my personal account, LOGIK 416. You can also follow here as well, and I'll follow back. And yo, man, I just want to big up everyone for their contributions. This has been extremely enlightening and educational and motivational. And I just love how we just add on wherever we can. And I'm just excited to see the potential of this, So like Symbolik mentioned, we're going to be here every week, man, every Thursday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, creating the space and just building and seeing where it goes from there, man. So let's continue to inspire each other. Don't stop creating, keep exploring. And yeah, man, we'll see y'all next week.
All right.
All right, man.
Thank
We
you.
out like that, man. All right, y'all. Peace, y'all.
Peace.